Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
Over the weekend, I was at a wedding. A family friend, certainly a good friend of my youngest son, Antonio Romanelli, got married. Congratulations, Antonio and Gabrielle. But the reason I share this story is, it's a wedding. We come to the reception, and if you've been to weddings, you know how these things can be, right? I mean, there's the bride side and there's the groom side, and even if you're reasonably connected with one or the other, you don't know everybody. There's always somebody that you don't know. And so it can be a lot of fun because you're reconnecting with people that you've known. And it can also be a little bit uncomfortable because there'll be people that you don't necessarily know. And so you're put at tables. They had assigned tables, which is great. I sat at a table with my daughter, my older son, and my wife, and then there was another couple that we knew, and then there was a couple that we didn't know. The couple that we knew, we've known for years because my oldest son and one of their daughters started in kindergarten together and went all the way through grade school, all the way through high school together. So there's been a lot of interactions between the families, and so anyhow. But when I came to the reception, my son and my daughter had gotten there early, and they told us, hey, this is the table we're at. There's a couple there. And I've already told this couple, Frank, this is the couple that I don't know. I've already told this couple that, relax, my dad's here, and he's Mr. Chatty. So it'll be a fun table. Not fun in the drinking sense, but I'm just somebody who likes to have small talk, likes to learn about people, and that's just who I am. And if you've been a fan of this podcast, if you've listened to this podcast, I am a fan of small talk. I think small talk is just a great way for us to build relationships and just to develop a sense of community in short order. And so my son, he's at the table, and hey, don't worry, my dad will be here, and everything will be fine. And then when I walked into the reception, he saw me and he said, yeah, we're table 33 and there's a couple already there and I've already forewarned them about you. I don't know, forewarning. I think that's the word my son used, but that's not fair, but whatever. And sure enough, I get over to the table. My wife and I went over to the table, and we were forewarned about you, or we heard about you. We knew you were coming. And that was really kind of a nice way to kind of just break the ice. And we had, it was a great conversation to learn about them. And they're a little older. They just celebrated their 50th anniversary, and their kids and their grandkids, and just, commonalities and what's their connection to the bride or the groom. And it was good. It was good. Small talk is a powerful thing. It's, these little conversations that seem to really go nowhere are really sort of are powerful. And in fact, the guy who was there, this didn't come out until later. My youngest son had bought a house, and he was helping my youngest son. He's kind of a framer. He was helping my youngest son. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're the one who did that stuff. Thank you very much. That's great. You know what? I'd love to have you come to my house. My wife and I are saying we want you to come over because we want to do something similar. And, you help my son. We like you because we're sitting here. Who else are we going to hire? So I don't know where this is going to go. He may say, hell no, I don't want to do work with Frank. But I'm comfortable with him. My wife's comfortable with him. When we left, I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, hey, I thought that was great. I'd love to have him over to take care of what we need taken care of. And she's like, yeah, my wife was saying. So small talk is really powerful. But I stumbled across an article in Cyblog, reading that a lot, comes out every day. PSYBLOG, Cyblog, Jeremy Dean, comes out every day. It's just a short little synopsis of studies that are out there, and some of them don't really resonate with me. One came out yesterday, the online behavior that is a sign of suicidal thoughts. I really don't want to read that. I did, but I don't really, didn't really hold a lot of interest for me. I guess it was more of a dark curiosity than anything, but I didn't think it really had any relevance to, what I was trying to do. But at any rate, if you're wondering, what's the behavior that's a sign of suicidal thoughts? Essentially, what they have found is that when people trash themselves online, pretend they're somebody else, and trash themselves online, that's a sign of a suicidal thought. So anyhow, total red herring to this podcast. But there was one particular installment of Cyblog that was titled, and I'm trying to think when it came out, just to let you know. Doesn't really say, but it doesn't matter. You can just go ahead and search. There's hundreds and hundreds of pages of different articles. Kudos to Jeremy Dean and what he's put together. But the title of this one is, We Read People's Personalities from Their Small Talk. And what they have found is that 4 minutes of small talk is enough to start reading somebody's personality. That's what research has shown. In particular, areas of determining whether somebody's an extrovert or an introvert, small talk can help us, understand how people are and how they'll behave in the future. What they did was they had 338 people in the study, and they were given tests of personality and IQ, and then they were paired with somebody else. So they were given a test so they could kind of get a sense as who the people were on the front end, and then they were, I assume, randomly paired with somebody else for 4 minutes of texting. So they would text, and then they also played a game after that would reveal aspects of their personality. So they're really gathering a lot of information, and then there was obviously some follow-up testing afterwards. But what they found is that people were much better at projecting what somebody's personality was after this 4 minute of texting, right? Okay, I've got a sense as to what this person, what this person's about. So it's Professor Segori, SGROI, Segori, I don't know. But let me quote him. Quote, in even a few minutes, we will start to form a mental model of the person we're talking with. Are they extroverted or introverted? Do they seem upbeat or downbeat, cooperative or uncooperative? These sorts of impressions won't be perfect, but they will be useful, unquote. What they, and as one of the examples they talk about is that people who spoke quicker and gave more details in their text were judged to be extroverted. Why that is, I don't know. I'm somewhat introverted. I give a lot of details in text. I don't know. I'm not the quick little emoji, hey, this explains everything type of person. But they found is that just this little 4 minutes is that people we really start to gauge what people are about. And next time you're talking with somebody, you can kind of get the same sense, as to whether somebody is really stoic or they've got a good sense of humor. I've talked with people, and you can just right away, okay, this is going to be hard. This person's just not into this conversation, and maybe it's not totally fair to them because you don't know what is precipitating that encounter. But you've got some information that you can start, reading them from. But the other thing that this study showed is that people tend to project their personalities onto others. So in other words, an extroverted person tends to make other people more extroverted because they'll foster that positive, the positive social environment. So when I'm sitting with somebody and, okay, it's another introvert and you're getting a lot of yes, no answers to, hey, did you see the game? Yes. What'd you think? It was okay. When you're getting that, it's just kind of take the conversation down. But if I'm coming in and I'm really extroverted and, oh, wow, do you see the game? What do you think about it? And really kind of drawing them out, it just kind of highlights the notion that, hey, it's okay to talk, and this, this is the social norm in this setting. It's going to be a lot of conversation. Hence the table that we were at. My son kind of prepped everybody that it was going to be there was going to be conversation. My dad will bring it out. And although I am somewhat introverted, but when you go to I guess I'm an omnivert. When I'm going to a setting like that, I need to, I don't want to be an introvert. But I will admit that once the music started, I'm out of there. I don't need to be. I just don't like to struggle through conversations. I'm not a dancer.
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something?
Man, my phone was just barking at me. So really what the research shows is that the importance of regular small talk to communication, even if it's not relevant or important, that people start to read things from these trivial interactions as to, what our personalities are or what other people's personalities are when you're having these interactions. And, that helps you with respect to interacting with them in the future. So don't shy away from small talk. Do not shy away from small talk. Take advantage of those opportunities wherever they're at. And a wedding reception is certainly an opportunity. Not during the wedding. Be quiet during the wedding. But the reception, maybe after the wedding, you have small talk with people at funerals. It's a powerful thing, and again, just don't shy away from small talk.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.